UFC Vegas 30, Gane versus Volkov. This is the post-fight show live. Results, reaction. We're going to talk about every fight on the card. We'll talk about what's potentially next for our guys all the way up at the top. Man, fun card. Some excellent bangers throughout. Pretty good main event at the top. New heavyweight contender definitely emerged. You guys are just tuning in. Smash that like button. Let's get that algorithm pumping. I appreciate everybody for tuning in to the live stream. Guys, make sure you subscribe to the channel if you are new here. Lots of exciting things happening in the MMA world, and we cover all of it here over at MMA Experts. So I appreciate you guys for tuning in. We're going to talk about each and every fight, starting all the way down with the first fight of the night at the bottom, way down here, all the way down here. Damir Hadzovic, Yancy, Medeiros, clap it up. Because this fight really started the card off right. I was super impressed by the performances we saw by both guys, essentially, because I truly feel as though Yancy Medeiros saved his job with the heart that he showed late. On the other side, Damir Hadzovic most definitely showed that he's game. The first two rounds were all his. He attacked Yancy like a savage. He went crazy on him. He unloaded with shots. He tried to get the knockout, but what is Yancy Medeiros really good at? Being durable, taking strikes. In the third round, Yancy had his own moments. Damir Hadzovic and Yancy Medeiros both deliver a fight of the night style of performance here. One of my favorites, fights of the night. At the end, I'm going to choose a fight of the night and knockout of the night, as well as a submission of the night. We got them all. We're going to be picking them all. Damir Hadzovic, Yancy Medeiros really started it off right. Look for Hadzovic. He's going to be around for a while, but he needs to work on that third round gas tank. Yancy Medeiros on the other side, fun journeyman who always delivers entertaining fights. Like, when are you bored with Yancy Medeiros? I truly love what I see from Yancy time in and time out, again and again and again. Yancy Medeiros is a really enjoyable guy to watch. I am a fan personally, and it was good to see him, even in defeat, put on a pretty fair performance, a performance that I enjoyed. But let's keep on moving. We got more. We got Charles Rosa versus Justin James, second fight of the night. Justin James decides, hey, I'm going to throw some serious dough on myself. I am going to bet $25,000 as an underdog for $35,000 extra back on top of his $25K that I'm going to win. Unfortunately, the opposite happened. He was completely outmatched here versus a very decent Charles Rosa. Sure, he had moments in the fight. He landed big strikes. He did maybe stun a little bit Charles Rosa with some clean punches, but it wasn't all that effective action from him. He didn't really do a ton here, and at the end of the day, respectable fight performance by Charles Rosa, who gets the win in this matchup. So good on him to be victorious. He beats Justin James, but unfortunately, James is going to now not only lose his purse from this fight, but also take home a fat L. And honestly, I feel like potentially career in the UFC down the stinker. He's really fun to watch, and I think he has a place in other organizations, but I don't know about the UFC, man. I really don't know if it's going to last here in the UFC for him. Gane definitely is the real deal. We'll talk about that fight at the top, but it started off well with the first two fights of the night, delivering absolute fire action and some good predictions too, because we picked both of the first two winners here in Hadzovic and Rosa, even though Hadzovic was a late switch of the pick after the weigh-ins. He looked jacked. Avila Stolarenko, what a submission, pulls it off against a very game Julia Stolarenko. Like, Stolarenko was there to fight. She was in the matchup. She was competitive at moments and really did mix it up with the hands extremely confidently. They both kind of went crazy at points. Julia Avila, though, shows the better female fighter of the two. She has a lot of things to like and work with. Was super emotional after the fight. Honestly, I don't blame her. She got a UFC victory. That's pretty amazing. And it was against a girl who's really not an easy out for essentially anybody out there. So honestly, Julia Avila, I was happy to see her Julia Avila, happy to see her victorious against Julia Stolarenko. Bright future, I think, for Avila still, even, with the performance here that was against Stolarenko that was competitive at moments. I think Avila's developing. She's still, relatively young as MMA goes, but she is 33 age-wise, but her amount of fights is not a ton. Still, I think excellent matchup and matchmaking. She got to put on a fun performance. It was a good back-and-forth fight versus Stolarenko. Julia Avila is victorious, gets herself Another signature win. Keep an eye on Avila moving forward. Fun fight, and she gets a nice submission there, which what was good to see her get that rear naked choke. The rear naked choke's a money submission. We saw a couple of them tonight. Marcin Prelims and Ike Villanueva. My goodness, Ike Villanueva's got heavy hands, and in the first round, he busted Prelims' eye. He destroyed Prelims' eye in the first round. We can't even say his name right. Marcin Pranio, who knows? All I know is he got the victory by a nasty body kick in the second round, right on the money. Down goes Ike Villanueva. He was in a lot of pain. That was a serious shot. It shut the body off completely. Marcin is real, guys. He's a fun guy to watch. Do I think real as in world title? No. But he showed that he's above the level of Ike Villanueva. He shows that he can get stoppages. He shows that he's a really entertaining fighter, and we're definitely going to see more of him. For Ike Villanueva, if he is cut from the UFC, BKFC is definitely going to call his name because he has an awesome, fun style, and I think he would actually succeed well at BKFC. I don't know why they wouldn't call him up. So definitely keep an eye on Ike Villanueva going to BKFC if he doesn't last in the UFC too much longer. But Marcin with a nice victory. Let's keep on moving through these prelims because we got some real exciting action to talk about. What a win for Jeremiah Wells as a pretty big underdog. He comes through and beats Warley Alves. Wow. First round, he attacked him like dynamite. I mean, this guy put it on him fast, had Warley on the ground, had him against the cage, picked him up, tried to slam him down. Jeremiah Wells is a physical specimen. And then in the second round, he sleeps Warley Alves as Alves was starting to get some momentum at the end of the first round. Jeremiah Wells is a fun prospect. I really am excited to see. He's 34, so this is like now or never as far as his run. Has trained with some good guys in Fili. I know he's sparred up with Paul Felder probably for years and years. Massive knockout power. It's now or never for Wells. I don't know about being a world champion, but I do know one thing. Jeremiah Wells has very serious knockout power. He's super athletic, physically super strong, and a great grappling game. I feel like Jeremiah Wells could at the very least win a couple more fights in the UFC and get himself some really nice paychecks. He's a guy I'll be keeping an eye on. Big win because Warley Alves just beat Munir Lazez, who was not supposed to be in the last fight. Jeremiah Wells is real. Great performance by him. He beats Warley Alves, who will be set back a little bit roughly here. Don't have an exact opponent yet. We'll talk about some exact opponents for the guys towards the top here. All right, the next one, Shavkat Rakhmonov versus Michael Prazeres. Shavkat is special. Not only is he physically gifted, being as tall and as long as he is, the man is a good fighter. My goodness. I mean, 6'1", 77-inch reach at welterweight, fights a 5'6", 67-inch reach. Michael Prazeres, so serious size difference. Used the range very well. Honestly, came inside, out-muscled Prazeres, gets him to the ground and chokes out Prazeres. Granted, Prazeres was done. You see he didn't want any more. Epic submission win. My goodness, Shavkat Rakhmonov and Khamzat Chimaev, probably the two hottest prospects at 170. I think down the line you might see those two face off, and that would be a hell of a matchup because right now, Shavkat, not an easy guy to put down. Early lean, though, would be Khamzat right now, but I still think Shavkat Rakhmonov, really valuable prospect, the nomad. Love the hat, love the act. I love everything about Shavkat, and I can't wait for him to work his way towards the top 15 because he absolutely has the tools to do so. Yes, Michael Prazeres is 40, almost 40, 39 in 11 months in one day, nearly 40. He's still a beast. He's still physically strong, and he's still never been finished as a professional ever, and Shavkat made it look easy. Excellent win. Shavkat moves forward. I don't think they're going to rush him up the rankings, but I think step it up maybe slightly. As far as an exact name, if I pull up, you know what? I am kind of curious to pull up the MMA rankings here. Let's see the UFC rankings for the welterweight division, but I don't want the official rankings. Let's see if I can find the ranking MMA complete UFC rankings. See, this site is good because it gives us the complete UFC. And let me find where Prazeres was at. Let me quickly see if I can let's see if I can look this up here. Ponzinibbio, Morono, does he deserve a fight against somebody more towards the top? Khamzat's back there, so he's not all the way up yet. Munir Lazez back here, even though some good wins. Man, where is he? Where is he down here? I'm sorry that we're looking deep, guys. I probably already passed him here. You know what? If I want to rush Shavkat, I wouldn't be opposed to giving him Matt Brown if we're really trying to rush him up the rankings. I don't know. I feel like that would be a kind of a fun fight and give him a real push. I'm not opposed to that. Randy Brown, another one I wouldn't be opposed to. There's Shavkat right there. Granted, I don't know how he's so much ahead of these guys. I don't know. I mean, he beat Oliveira, I guess, which is a decent enough win. I could see Matt Brown. I could see him fighting the winner of Pereira and Michel Pereira and Nico Price. That's another one. That's interesting. Lots of interesting fights for the Nomad, Shavkat Rakhmonov. We won't spend too much time on what's next for him, but I just am super high on the prospect. I'll talk about him all day. Marquez nearly gets the win. If you guys watched the live stream, I did feel the stoppage was like slightly early, but Kennedy was on the way to win. Danilo didn't really argue all that much. He was pretty much finished. I was just upset to see my guy, Danilo Marquez, get the loss, but I am happy for Nchukwu. He's a comeback king. He's come back like that twice in the past after losing the first round or two. Man, Danilo Marquez was controlling on the ground, but on the feet, clear level difference. Kennedy Nchukwu is a really fun fighter. African Savage, they call him. He fights, honestly, out of a pretty good team with Fortis MMA. Developing skill sets. He does care for his very sick mother. Some truly heartfelt emotions I have for this guy, Kennedy. So to see him win, I do feel good for the man. Hopefully, he gets himself some nice paychecks and is able to help out his sick mother, man. So that is really nice what he does. It was a good performance and a nice win. I was happy to see him get the victory there. Honestly, great performance for Kennedy Nchukwu. Late, but he did get controlled on the ground. And, you know, Danilo Marquez is a tricky guy. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu game that is not easy to deal with. Kennedy passes. He moves on up. I'll move up to the main card here in just a second. Guys, make sure you smash that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you guys are new here. On this post-fight show, this is like a new series I want to do. I love the live post-fight coverage because we can interact as well. I would love to see at least 35 likes on this post-fight show. So if you're watching now, smash that like button and let's keep the likes flowing. I appreciate you guys all for being here. Barcelos ruined many parlays. His boxing is solid. Yeah, and I do think BKFC, he'll do well. 29-28. You felt it was even? Yeah, I could see it being even, Stevens. Barcelos 28-28, dropped Tumor twice. Yeah, Shavkat versus Chaos. Oh, that would be insane. Can you imagine if they did Shavkat versus Chaos? I don't think they're doing Shavkat Chaos because they don't want to kill off Chaos just yet, but I think that's a fight. But Renato Moicano grappled the hell out of Jay Herbert, and it wasn't close when the fight hit the ground. There was literally no resistance at all. I'll be 100% honest with you guys. I am super impressed with Moicano. On the ground, he is a savage. Like, really, the skill set is there. Very good control from the top position. Honestly, Renato Moicano's Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is nasty. Control, pressure. Jay Herbert on the feet's nasty too. If he can get that ground game up, I think he can be a problem, but he's 33, so it's really now or never. But Renato Moicano moves forward. Big win. He's going to be a fun player at the lightweight division, but if he can make 145, I think he's a lot more of a problem there because I think the chin, not necessarily suspect, but the guys hit hard at 155, harder than the dudes at 45. He can probably take some of the better power punches at 45. Renly has been knocked out in the past, but the biggest hitters at 55 will sleep him. We saw Fiziev in the last fight do it to him, but Moicano stays alive and keeps on running up the rankings. Let's see. Next fight, Tim Means put it on Nicholas Dalby. Honestly, big IQ mistake, in my opinion, by Nicholas Dalby in that final round. It seemed like he landed a beautiful punch that really had Means hurt, badly hurt, and unfortunately doesn't follow up. He chooses to do double underhooks. What are you doing? Nicholas, come on, my guy. But at the end of the day, he was losing the fight. The boxing was good for Means, control from the top position. Everything Means did was good in that fight. Overall, Tim Means' proven performance gets the victory over Nicholas Dalby, a hard-nosed fighter, a tough fighter. But Tim Means is really makes a run at later ages. I mean, he's not young anymore, but I still think there's a lot of fun fights for him left. He beats Dalby. He is a welterweight. And I guess since we have welterweight up, we'll talk about what could be next. You know, as crazy as it sounds, would Alex Morono be a potential fight? Maybe. Because he's really like in a weird position, right? Because he beat Nicholas Dalby, who was right here. I don't think he's fighting Robbie. I feel like Tim Means, Alex Morono might be the next fight to make, guys. I like that fight. Alex Morono, Tim Means next for Dalby. Tough setback. Maybe Mike Perry or something like that for him. But bad fight IQ mistake in there. Fili ends in a no contest with Pineda. He put it on Pineda in the first. Clear 10-8 first round. What a performance by Fili while it lasted. Unfortunately, the eye poke calls the fight. Daniel Pineda gets a no contest. He did want to keep fighting. He just couldn't open his eye. It is what it is. That's the fight game. Fili looks really good. He's poised to really come into his own at 45, but I still don't think he's going to break past like the upper echelon of the guys. I think he's probably top 15 or outside the top 15, even like material. I think he's just like right there, top level gatekeeper. And he's really going to be a fun guy to keep around. Don't have an exact opponent. They might run it back with Pineda. If not, we'll keep on moving him up in the rankings. Still think Andre Fili is a valuable guy, and his striking looks better than ever as he beat Daniel Pineda in this matchup. But let's keep on moving up because I want to talk about these huge fights. The featured bout, first round, very competitive. Valiev landed more. Give the first round Valiev for sure. Nice leg kicks, decent combination punching. Barcelos didn't do a ton. Second round, Barcelos knocking down Valiev multiple times, nearly knocking him out. Is that a 10-8 round? On the unified scores, especially in Vegas, that were recently adopted, that is a 10-8 round. So let's call that middle round a 10-8. The last round could have gone either way. Maybe you lean Valiev slightly. We're looking at a draw here. Unfortunately, though, for Barcelos, it's a win for Timur Valiev, who looked really good. Mad respect to Valiev. He takes a good punch, and when he does get hurt, he absolutely recovers. He cashes as a big dog if you played him. He beats Rayani Barcelos. I think Valiev's a fun guy. He wants a top 15 guy. That bantamweight top 15, there's really some difficult names towards the top there. Let me see here. Towards the top, you have Rayani Barcelos was 14 technically. This is not the legit rankings. Kyler Phillips. Maybe a Sun Sao Phillips winner next for Timur Valiev, because I think he does deserve a pretty strong test in the right direction, because I really feel like we got to give it to him, especially at 31, almost 32 years of age. He wants to make a run. He lost his debut, but it was overturned to a no contest. 2-fight winning streak. He looks good. I'm impressed by Valiev's combination striking, his wrestling game, his physical strength, his cardio, and his durability, even though it should have been a draw with Barcelos here. It really should have been a draw. I think that most of you guys will agree it probably should have been a draw. You think Shavkat kills Morono? I agree as well. If Moicano only had a chin, he'd be nasty. Yeah, they're trying to build him up. The UFC Africa card, he's definitely going to be on. But guys, smash that like button if you have not yet. I appreciate everybody for tuning into the post-fight show. Hope you guys are enjoying it. Subscribe if you guys are new here. Co-main event, Tanner Bozier taking on Ovin St. Preux. He knocks him out in the second round. First round was all Bozier. Controls with the striking. OSP looks flat. He looks slow. He's not doing a ton. And then the next round, Tanner Bozier grabs the fence as OSP took him down and was on top. But at the end of the day, wasn't that bad of a fence grab. Looked a lot worse when we saw it live than when we watched the replay. He gets back up. They kind of clash heads a bit on the way up. And then big knee hurts him. Strike drops him. Down goes Ovin St. Preux. TKO, second round. Legit win for Bozier. He stays alive in this heavyweight division. He's a fun heavyweight. He's making some good money. I enjoy watching him. He was on a 2-fight losing streak. He lost just a couple weeks back to Ilir Latifi. OSP, he's either got to do one of two things. Commit to heavyweight and bulk up, or go back down to light heavyweight. He said he wants to do light heavy, even though he missed weight in the last light heavyweight matchup. OSP can still beat some of the back end guys, but at heavyweight, I don't think he has much of a shot, because that speed is not going to be an advantage against some of these guys, because Tanner Bozier was a pretty fast one too. Really tricky matchup for him. He's more like a light heavyweight. Bozier looked really good out there, gets a nice win. Ovin St. Preux, difficult loss. I do think he'll be back at light heavyweight and maybe fighting somebody outside of like the top 25. Give him kind of a give-me tune-up fight for Bozier. Fun gatekeeper. A guy I enjoy watching. He'll still be around. He's still going to be here in this UFC heavyweight division. But move up to the main event. We'll talk about what's next for both guys, but we'll first talk about Ciryl Gane's performance. He beat Volkov in a competitive matchup. Some people felt the fight was closer than the scores had it, even though the scores were 50-45, 50-45, and 49-46. Some people saw it 2 rounds to 3. At the end of the day, Ciryl Gane was just faster, clearly, good jab, controlled the range decently. Granted, did get touched up a bit by Volkov, had the clear-cut speed advantage, physically very strong, couldn't get Volkov down, though, didn't expect him to. He was a slight favorite. He cashes as a favorite. Ciryl Gane will move forward as a legit contender, claims he's ready for that world title. Didn't really have any terrifying moments here. He did get touched up by a couple punches, but nothing all that scary. He busted up Volkov's face bad. Gane eats a good punch. I think Gane is a real deal contender in the heavyweight division and one of the most special heavyweights. He switches stances. He moves like a middleweight. Ciryl Gane is special, guys. In the heavyweight division, he's right at the top. He just beat Volkov, who's right at the top. I think if it's Ngannou versus Lewis next, I think he's kind of in a rocky situation, right? He probably is going to have to either wait for a title shot. Maybe he fights Blades if Blades is somehow able to beat Jairzinho Rozenstruik. Maybe he fights Chris Daukaus somehow. Maybe he finds himself in a title fight before. I don't know. He's in a tricky situation because the champion Francis Ngannou is supposed to fight Derek Lewis, and then he's supposed to fight John Jones, and then Stipe wants a rematch. There's so many possible matchups. Maybe he fights the loser of the championship fight between Francis Ngannou and Derek Lewis. I think that would make a lot of sense. He's right at the top of the weight class, just waiting for his shot. Now, on the other side, I do think Volkov should probably fight the loser of Blades and Rosenstruik, assuming it's Rosenstruik, though. If it's not Rosenstruik, then he's in a different situation. Maybe you give him Augusto Sakai. Granted, they've fought some recent opponents. Maybe you give him the on-the-ride Marcin Tybura. Has he fought Tybura in the UFC in the past? I don't believe he has. Maybe Marcin Tybura's next, because even in defeat, it's not like Volkov didn't look good. Overall, Volkov rose his stock in defeat, but just had a really tricky matchup against Cyril Gane. It was a guy that is going to give him problems always. It's just a horrible matchup for him. Gane versus Stipe next. If they were doing it off rankings, I would do that, but I don't think they'll do that. Gane reminds you of Robert Whittaker, the heavyweight division. Dude, I definitely could see that. Gane is a special fighter, guys. I really enjoyed this whole card. It was fun calling it with you guys with the play-by-play. It was fun doing this post-fight show. I like breaking it down live just so you guys can get some live interaction in there. Hope you guys did enjoy the stream. Smash that like button. Stipe gets the winner of Francis versus Lewis. I do agree. So I think Gane should get the loser of those two, or potentially Curtis Blades, depending on what happens with him and Jairzinho Rozenstruik. Definitely some interesting matchups coming. He's going to have to wait around. Probably Volkov in a similar type situation. Maybe Chris Dawkins somehow gets that matchup if he is able to win his next fight. There's definitely some fights for both guys on the rise coming soon. Overall, good card, UFC Vegas 30. I hope you guys enjoyed this post-fight show, the live results and reaction. Smash that like button. Goal 35 likes. New series, so we're going to set the bar for the likes low. But I really would like to keep growing these post-fight shows. I want to be doing it more. Maybe bring a guest on eventually and really have a lot of fun with it. So smash the like button. Let's get 35 likes at least up in here. Subscribe if you guys are new here. Tom Aspinall is very good. Bright potential. I got to get out of here, guys. It was great chatting it up all day long. Smash that like button. Subscribe. Have a great night, everybody. And thank you all so much for tuning in to the MMA Experts post-fight show, Gane versus Volkov. Have a great night, guys.